Hey everybody, Scott McLeod here from flagstick.com at the amazing Cabot Cape Breton, right behind me here at Cabot Links. And we're here to test out, as you can imagine, some adidas product, part of their new Fleece and Fairways launch, products that you're going to see through the winter of 2023 and into 2024. And we've got some amazing people to tell you about the product. We're going to tell you all about the history of the product, everything you need to know about it, and we really appreciate them spending time with us here at Cabot Cape Breton. All right, we're here at Cabot Cape Breton with Chase Aaronson with adidas. I want to talk to you a little bit about this launch that we've got going on. Why don't we talk a little bit about the product and the materials that you've developed for this line?
Yeah, for sure. So we're all really excited about the fall 23 line. I'd say in terms of functionality, it's one of our highest functioning line, but we also focused this season exclusively on lightweight warmth. So I think we're focusing on three different categories, or I guess functionalities within this, which is warmth, protection, and comfort. So we're really excited to introduce some of these products, as well as the labels of like cold ready, rain ready, wind ready, and then the culmination of all that is like frost guard too. So yeah, we're really excited.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the complexities and the material that have to go into this? Because obviously there's a lot of tasks that have to go in as far as what these products have to do for these people at different times, different weathers, different temperatures, and while they're playing golf. What's the challenges for you?
Yeah, so of course for golf we want to make sure that we are developing functional gear for the golfer. So part of that's ensuring that one, there's enough stretch, two, that we have complete protection from the environment. So whether that garment's going to be made for the rain, for the wind, or for the cold, that everything's tested both from a material perspective and an athlete perspective. So whenever we test our materials, and you do see these labels like cold ready, rain ready, and wind ready, these aren't just we think they're going to work in these conditions. There are like very rigorous testing standards that we put these materials through the gauntlet. We want them to perform out there. We want them to last. Our design and marketing team makes sure that the garments are looking right and fitting right for the golfer, and that our athletes test and approve everything as well.
And how long does that process take as far as going from, let's say, the laboratory to outside? How long does it take to get this product ready before you can test it with those athletes outside and maybe get their feedback and get their approval? Or do you actually do a little bit of integration with that? Do you get some of the athlete feedback during that early process to think maybe, here's how we have to develop these things?
Yeah, I'd say the total process is about like 6 months to a year. So it's kind of more of a rolling process. We're constantly asking for feedback and then integrating it into like the seasonal development. So whether it's a fit, whether it's a color, whether it's a hand feel preference or weight preference, we're constantly asking our athletes for feedback and then integrating it into like the season that we can apply it. So yeah, it's great.
What's the kind of most interesting thing that maybe you've heard from an athlete that they've said, hey, what about this? And then you've said, okay, we're going to have to, change what we're thinking about here as far as product-wise.
Yeah, I'd say the most interesting, and I'd say this is a focus for fall 23, is of course weight. I think in this season we're trying to break the misconception that the only way to add warmth or functionality or protection is through the addition of material. So, you want to add more warmth, you add more material. A lot of the feedback that we've been getting is that we want our materials to still, and products to still provide warmth, but we don't want like the extra bulk and the weight. So I'd say that the weight aspect is the most common and most interesting factor that we're getting, and it's really fun from a material perspective because we do have the technology now that we can provide an increased amount of warmth with a reduced amount of essentially weight, bulk, or like density. So I think that's why this line is the most interesting. And of course the stretch factors is common for golf. You can never have too much stretch, and that's when things get really interesting from a material perspective and exciting.
Yeah, I mean, golfers obviously want as much comfort as possible, both on the golf course and off the golf course. And looking at these pieces that, they're obviously, you can wear them anywheres. How important is that for you as well, that they are functional off the golf course?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important. When you go to buy product, you don't want to have to separate your buying based on what I can wear on the golf course for 18 holes and then what I have to change into after. So we always wanted to like look right for on and off the course, both professionally and versatile wise. We also wanted to have that kind of unique, I think we call it like luster. So a lot of performance gear ends up being really shiny, very athletic, but that's not so functional for off the course as well. So we always want to make sure that our materials are matte, they're soft, they have that kind of comfort and flexibility that you can perform on the course, but it's not going to look too athletic off.
And what are the advantages of being, with Adidas as a company? Obviously, you've got a lot of resources as far as other products and things that are happening that maybe are not in the golf sphere. How often do you maybe get to lean into that, or maybe discover that somebody in another segment of the company is working on something that might be useful for you?
It's constant. So we're always looking to see what the rest of the brand is doing from a technology perspective, but also from like a design development perspective as well. I mean, Adidas is such an amazing brand and company for so many of these reasons, and I think we're constantly inspired by what other teams are doing. But a lot of the times what we do is we'll be inspired, or we'll work with another team on a certain aspect, and then we call it like golfification. So I think a perfect example is like our rain ready fabrics. A lot of the times our outdoor and their Terex team, they're the absolute experts in this area, but we can't directly adopt some of those materials from them, just because while they're extremely functional for their area, they don't quite stretch the same, the softness isn't the same, and a lot of the times they're just not golf functional. So we'll kind of take some of their learnings and golfify things, and yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, so as we look through the product line and the materials and everything that's in there, what are you personally most proud of? What's the piece that you look at and you go, yeah, that's the one, I love that?
I'd say the Frost Guard piece. I think Frost Guard is definitely a highlight in our line. It's a product category that we've always been excited about, but I think this season especially, I really love the materials that were selected, and the material mix I think is really interesting, because on the chest and back we have the high stretch nylon, and this material I think looks awesome. It feels great in your hand, and it stretches really amazing, and it has this like very cool stealth, almost like technical look, but then it's paired with a very soft like knitted sleeve that also has a water repellent coating on it too. So I think this mix of materials is really interesting, and I think it's going to be our most functional, cool piece both for on and off the course.
Well, congratulations. Looking forward to doing more testing myself.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.